Don't say any F's and stuff.
There is no investigation. This boy has...
There is not. Really? It is to me.
Don't say any F's and stuff.
But I have to put her on the side and worry about
I'm gonna do what I gotta do for me and my boys and my kids.
Don't say any F's and stuff.
There is no investigation. This boy
There
has...
is not. Really? It is to me. Right. Idiot.
I've done my best. It's hard, you know, that's real tough.
But I have to put her on the side and worry about the boys.
I'm gonna do what I gotta do for me and my boys and my kids.
Don't say any F's and stuff.
Live from the NBD Production Studios, you're in the lab with your host, Joshua Diaz.
There is no investigation. This boy has...
There is not. Really? It is to me. But I have to put her on the side and worry about the boys. But I have to...
There is no investigation.
What's up?
Don't say any F's and stuff.
How's it going? Mindful Mama Ray. Good to see you.
I have to put her on the side and worry about the boys.
Welcome to the lab. How is everybody tonight? Now, I took the phone number off the screen, but we will be taking some calls tonight. Why not? Interesting show for you, as always. And first and foremost, I just want to say thank you, everybody who is here. And if you haven't yet, if you would like to, please go over to the Lab After Dark and subscribe there. It's kind of a little after show, late show that we do. We just kind of goof around and just talk about whatever comes up, mostly paper straws and, I don't know, paper straws mostly. And so if you would, please feel free. And Gail, thank you so much for that super chat. And I want to thank Miss Tammy. If you're out there again, I want to thank you for the 20 gifted memberships that you did gift. That was very awesome. And thank you to everybody who has done that. And we just totally appreciate you guys. So that being said, how is everybody? Let's just get into it because there is a lot to get into. Now, Candace once again goes on her favorite channel, which is fine. And this isn't a bash on any channel. Trust me. This is about Don and Candace and Summer and the inevitable collapse of that foundation on that hill between those two. And it affects all aspects. It affects the investigation with CPS and the investigation with Summer as well. And it's just a really shocking time. Now, we've all seen this before. Let me see here. Hold on. Single mom of 4. Thank you so much. I appreciate you. And then we got a new member. Just Betty. What's up? And Patty Ponytail's a noob. Appreciate you being here. Bristol, 7 months. How are you? Good to see everybody. Thank you. 7 months, man. That's a long time. Cursed with curiosity. I know the mugshots are a bit much, but like, look, just hang in there with me because I have some things that I'm going to play. So anyway, Candace, we've seen this before. The night, one of the crazier nights that involves this case when Don was completely hammered out of his mind or whatever it was, and him and Candace was wailing in the background. And it was just a really ugly scene. And the other night, I don't know if anybody saw it, but we got a small glimpse of that again. Now, what I'm going to do is I had another conversation with Don, and it ends like every other conversation that Don and I had, and me calling him an asshole and him saying that, I'm an idiot. And then we just, it doesn't really go anywhere. But the Flyers sound like it's a go. I think he wants the Flyers. I told him, the last thing I told him was, give it a couple weeks, have it. But then I, basically told him to frig right off and everything else in every other way, because that's what happens. But he said something to me in one of those messages that I want to share with you, because I questioned him about it and he seemed to sort of walk it back a little bit. And when I saw it, I don't know. I kind of got a weird little feeling. It was just a very minor like punch in the gut. And I let it be for a minute because I didn't know what to make of it. It was kind of troublesome, like always. It's always troublesome. But let me just... Ray of Sunshine, that's awesome. And Donna Price, thank you so much. Thank you for your loyalty to Summer. Thank you as well for your loyalty. Mary Hartman in the house. What's happening, Mary? Good to see you. As always. Always good to see Mary. All right, so let me play a little bit of this. This is from Critters on the Farm. But I'm not using that. I'm just using... You can hear Don clearly in the background. It's just it's the oddest situation. Just wait till you hear this.
Another drug.
So while she's on panel, you can hear Don in the background clearly talking to somebody on the phone. Now, we'll talk about who that person is here in a second.
Another drug.
So what he says there, he says, it's out of context, so I don't know what it means, but it's something that would come out of Don's mouth. Cigarettes and other drugs. That's what he said. Cigarettes and other drugs. That's just the very first thing that I could get out of it.
Doing all right.
No, we're not doing all right.
So they were asked if they were doing all right. And by the way, this is what he does. This is what Don does. Even if you're nice to him, he wheels around and just absolutely, it doesn't matter. He doesn't discriminate who he's mean to, who he's a jerk to. He doesn't discriminate ever, ever, ever.
Doing all right.
No, we're not doing all right.
So he says, Candace says, yeah, we're doing all right. And what does he say? No, we're not doing all right. But he's on the phone with somebody else. So he's obviously keeping an eye on what Candace is doing and saying, and probably wanting to know who she's talking to. And I don't know if that comes up in this at all, but let's just listen a little more.
Oh my God. Don said Chris McDonough will tear that shit apart.
So they were talking about dumpster diving, and you hear Don in the background talking to somebody. We still don't know who that somebody is, but we will know who it is.
We're just kidding and playing around anyway.
You want to talk about dumpster diving? Hidden Moines right here.
Okay, so he says, yeah, you're talking about dumpster diving, and Chris McDonough will tear you apart for dumpster diving. I don't know. I have no clue what that means. I have no idea why Chris would be interested in Candace dumpster diving. It's just, I'm going to go ahead and just speak for the man, and I typically don't do this, but I don't think he cares one bit if you dumpster dive. Is it weird? Sure. Do people do it? Yeah. Does Chris care? No. Do I care? No. That's the paranoia that you're dealing with here. Chris lives in that guy's head 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, doesn't pay rent, nor does he clean up. He leaves his shoes everywhere, his socks everywhere. He's an invasive house guest, all right? So Don, and I don't know if he's intoxicated or what, but he hates Chris with a passion. And he's on the phone with Tim at the time. And he gets this weird little crush. Mary Owen says, I was in Hawkins County for a few days last week, and the people there haven't changed. They believe the Wells know where their child is. I would agree with that 100%. I believe the same exact thing. I believe the same exact thing. Now let's just listen here. We find out who he's talking to on the phone, and it's our favorite. I don't know.
Yeah, I bet Tim wouldn't jump in a dumpster.
Okay, yeah. So she says, yeah, I bet Tim wouldn't jump in a dumpster. That now referring to Tim Mullen, who is on the phone apparently with Donatello.
Playing.
Talking to the man from Vietnam.
Okay, so Don goes on to say that he's talking to the man from Vietnam. Now, maybe Tim was born in Vietnam. I doubt it. He looks and talks and acts like he was born stateside. I think what he meant was that Tim has been in Vietnam, and we thank you for your service, Mr. Mullen, if that is the case. But I mean, he's not from Vietnam, right? He's not from Vietnam. Vietnam. Let's hear this again. It's just so stupid.
Talking to the man.
I'm talking to the man. So Tim is the man. So obviously you can hear in his voice that he has a serious man crush on Tim, which is fine. That's his buddy. Tim believes him. Tim supports him. Tim's from Vietnam.
From Vietnam. They own all kinds of helicopters.
So he owns all kinds of helicopters and stuff. I don't know if that's true or not. I've heard that he owned like a gyrocopter. I don't know what that is. I have no clue. What that is. But he's not from Vietnam, I don't believe. Maybe we can get some clarification on that. But after I play this, I'm gonna reveal to you what was said in the text exchange that left me so dumbfounded and speechless. And like I said, I did ask for clarification, but let's go ahead and listen a little more.
All kinds of stuff. Oh, did I tell you about that woman that called me today?
Okay, so he goes back to talking to Tim about some woman that called him today.
She's like,
He's nuts.
Candace calls Don nuts. And you might think that this is in jest. You might think, hey, she's like, oh, he's nuts. I don't see it that way. Look at little Donnie up in the corner there. I don't see it that way. I think that she's dead serious that he is losing his mind. He's losing his mind, and he's angry, and he's frustrated, and he is just, he's bat. He's just bat crap crazy. I haven't seen Don's ulcer in a while. I would like to see Don's ulcer again. All right, here we go.
Donnie done lost his mind, y'all.
So Donnie done lost his mind, y'all. I agree with Candace. One of the first times that I've ever thought that Candace was just being completely forthright. Yes, he has lost his mind, and there's no way. And I just for the life of me don't understand. This is, when was this? This was like Thursday or something. It's a Thursday night at Ben Hill Road. Don's having a conversation with some guy from Vietnam who owns a bunch of helicopters and is the man. And she's, you know, you can tell she's upset. She's walking on eggshells here. And I've seen this role reversed before, where Don seems to kind of be walking on eggshells, like one person is angrier than the other. And so I don't know.
I don't know. Donnie's talking to him, and they're like, oh, we can't dumpster dive because we're retarded.
Okay, so she uses the lovely R word that Don called her handicapped for wanting to dumpster dive. And it's just, you know, they're upset with each other.
Donnie done lost his mind, y'all. I don't know. Donnie's talking to him, and they're like, oh, we can't dumpster dive because we're retarded. He just left, y'all. I can't answer that.
Well, you can sit here.
So after this happens and this agitation just goes up, is Don's ulcer in the house for real? Did I see Don's ulcer? Where is it? Somebody tell me Don's ulcer's here. Big fan of Don's ulcer. Should have a face with Chris on there. So anyway, they're losing the stress of what is happening, whether they're innocent, guilty, or otherwise, is causing these crazy episodes. Most of it we don't see. Donnie left. Well, I don't know if he was drunk or not. He sounded hammered. I've heard him hammered a few times. If he really did, then he was gone drinking and driving. But, you know, he's been known to do that. So it's not like out of the question that he would do that. Don understands. So Candace, you can see clearly here that there is a disconnect. I don't know if Candace likes Tim much. Maybe she does. Maybe she doesn't. But it doesn't sound like her and Tim are close in any way, shape, or form. Let's just listen to these little sound bites here.
Here, it's another drug.
Doing all right.
No, we're not doing all right.
Oh my God. Donnie said Chris McDonough will tear that shit apart. We're just kidding and playing around
We're just
anyway.
playing.
Yeah, you want to talk about dumpster dog? Tim Mullins right here.
It's Tim Mullins right here. Tim Mullins right here. They are acting, Josh. I mean, maybe.
Yeah, I bet Tim wouldn't jump.
I don't acting. I don't think that they're acting. I think that they're messed up.
Jump in a dumpster. Playing.
Talking to the man from Vietnam that owned all kinds of helicopters and all kinds of stuff. Oh, did I tell you about that woman that told me today? She's like,
He's not. Donnie done lost his mind. I said Chris McDonough doing all right.
no, we're not doing all right.
Oh my God. Donnie said Chris McDonough would tear that shit apart. We're just kidding and playing around anyway.
Oh, yeah, you want to talk about dumpster dog? Tim Mullins right here.
So at one point, Candace is telling him, hey, well, I bet Tim wouldn't jump in a dumpster. And then he was like, he's from Vietnam. And we always wonder, like, how do you feel about Tim Mullen, Candace?
He's a lost cannon.
Now that is in reference to Tim Mullins. Let's see. Yes, Josh, they're acting. Josh, how many times are you going to fall for these performances by them on their lives? I'm not falling for any performance, none whatsoever. I'm not falling for anything. This isn't, you got to understand that this isn't all an act. This is not all an act, and I'm not in a tizzy. It's not all an act. I mean, these people are seriously deprived. They have issues. They have substance abuse issues, anger issues. They have issues, and what is happening is the closer they get to people, the further away we get from Summer. And yes, once again, Candace, how do you feel about Tim?
He's a lost cannon.
Sure he is. No question about that.
He's trying to say that he's the meteor for our family, but I don't. Well, why do you need a meteor for my family? Like,
all right. So,
yeah, I bet Tim wouldn't jump in a dumpster. He's trying to say that he's the meteor for our family, but I don't. Well, why do you need a meteor for my family? Like,
well, I can tell you this, Alicia. Don begs me constantly to knock it off. He hates me. He doesn't want me talking about him or analyzing anything. He said all they're talking about is dumpster diving. Nobody cares. He's just paranoid. That's what that is. That's nothing but paranoia. Yeah, that's true too. All right. So there you have Tim Don with his little crush on Tim. Don and I reconnected recently this week for just a very brief time. It did not go that well. Josh, you think it'll ever come to an end? I do, yes. Yes, I do think it will. The Meteor Manager. I certainly do. Okay, so when we reconnected, we were talking and, you know, it was contentious and we were kind of trying to work out the details of, you know, the flyers and if he wanted them. And, you know, he seemed like, yeah, he'll take them, but he, you know, I don't know how you're supposed to react when somebody offers you flyers, but it wasn't like, a huge thing where he was like, yeah, I can't wait, dude. Yes. You know what? And Don's never been like that. So I don't expect him. I don't expect him to feel that way. And nor do I care. Like, they're his flyers. He can do whatever he wants with them. But then he starts kind of going into, well, you blast everything. You do this and you do that and you do this and that and that and on and on. Well, happy birthday to your 3 grandkids. Now, I'm going to put this up here. So it's Don saying, when you blast everything, it's evident the perpetrator is watching, more than likely. I said, I haven't blasted anything that would jeopardize Summer's investigation. I don't know what happened to her. His response, but we do know. So I'm like, huh? You like, that's not, he's just talking. He made a mistake. He made a mistake. That's what I was kind of going like, you know, but so I let it simmer. I was kind of confused by it. And I really don't. Now, this is where he could just be yanking my chain. It's possible. It's possible that he's just yanking my chain here. It's also possible that he's hammered off his ass and he's telling me the truth here. And so, look, it's one of the two. It could be a sarcastic remark, but it was a serious conversation. He wasn't being sarcastic. He was kind of being so I don't know. I don't know what to make of that. I don't first of all, I don't think of it like in this sense of, you know, yeah, look, I do think that they know. And if you take this at face value, basically what he's saying is, yeah, we do know. Now, it could be a couple of different things. One of them being, maybe he's saying, we know that she was kidnapped. Possibly. But why be so certain? Why be so certain about it? So in the 2 or 3 weeks that Don and I were communicating, he has admitted to me that it is completely possible that Candace lied to him and that she does know where Summer is. And he's saying, well, you know, yeah, that's possible. And then here, when I say, you know, I don't know what happened to Summer, he says, but we do know. What is it that you know? Do you know who took her? Is that what that means? I don't know. And I had a conversation with Detective Pruitt about this. It is getting it's getting put on the books. you know, look, I don't, this isn't anything solid, concrete. It's just one of those circumstantial things. If something like this ever does go to trial, this will be brought up. These kinds of things. These kind of things are marked down. So I had a conversation with them, and you know, we talked for a few minutes, and I can tell you this: the man is working. Detective Pruitt is working the case. I have no doubts about that. He was interested. He was polite. He was quick to talk. And it was a good conversation. Oh, of course. Look, of course I do. This isn't for, you know. Yeah, I just hand it right. I hand that right over. And so Pruitt, when him and I talked about it, even, and by the way, Alicia, I want to tell you this, even if he is quote unquote trying to clown me, these words are circumstantial. If it ever comes out, and hopefully it will, what happened or where Summer is, and if she is not well and possibly passed away, and the parents are charged with this, he could be joking right here. He could be just being a jerk right here. He could be doing a lot of things. But if you don't think for a second that the 7 alibis comment, Candace has none, she's going down, but we do know what happened to her, won't be brought up in court. Well, it certainly will be brought up in court. You don't think a jury or even a grand jury would like to see this kind of stuff? They would love it. Circumstantial evidence is still evidence. And you can believe that. But I'm here to tell you that this investigation is ongoing. And that Detective Pruitt is working. Let's see here. Josh, please don't give info what the officer told you. Don't want to spill any beans before court. That's not gonna happen. Trust me. I wouldn't do that. So then a day or two later, I screenshot this and I send it back to Don. Now let me see here. Who gifted? Thank you. Annabelle Roma gifted 5 memberships. Gail, thank you for gifting a membership. It's so lovely. So lovely. I know the case is being worked on. I do. Okay, so that's right, Sandra. I mean, circumstantial evidence really adds up. And don't think that drunken antics and things that are said are not circumstantial evidence. They absolutely 100% of the time are used. Public statements get used all the time. Remember Trezell? I wish we could search neighbors' houses. Does anybody remember Trezell saying that? By the way, they're going on trial here in just a week. So we'll be covering that case as well of Orrin and Orson, or Classic and Sincere, the Cal City boys. They got Murdoch on that, of course. Punching holes in the wall is evidence of violence. Yeah, of course. Don't break my door. Yeah. All right. I missed it. Did Josh say when? Thursday? Thursday? I think. Yeah. Yeah. And so anyway, I let it be. I screenshot it. Then I send it back to Don. And I said, was this an accident? Were you mistaken or something along those lines? I really did give him a fair shake. Gail, thank you so much. Oh, that would be great. Marlene, that would be awesome. Another really interesting part of a conversation when I told him, I said, the card team for the FBI says there's no evidence of an abduction or that she was trafficked out of the area. Now, Pruitt said that. The card team said that. Don said, who the hell's the card team? Dead serious. Who the hell's the card team? She's like, are you paying attention? Who's the card team? Anyway, so that it's like, what the? So I screenshot and said, that's a typo, right? The very next day, because just in case he was drunk, in which he may have been, which he very well may have been, the card team is absolutely not fake. And Kayla gifted 5 lab memberships. You guys are very sweet. Thank you, Kayla. Versi DeRosa, thank you. I appreciate that as well. But anyway, he didn't know who the card team was. So then he writes the next day, maybe what I meant, that we do know she was kidnapped. He's not sure what he meant by that. Now that's fair. I was just trying to be fair to the man. I was just trying to be fair because I've been accused. You're not fair to Don. You're so mean to Don. You're this, you're that. And then he comes back and says to me, well, maybe this is what I meant. Huh? What? Doesn't know who the card team is? He knows what happened with Summer. Hi from Kentucky. Welcome in. Possibly, maybe. It's raining memberships. It really is. Yeah, the card team is very real. I never heard her say that, and I would take issue with anybody, not just her saying that look, it was the card team that responded. He's just pickled. How can they know she was kidnapped? Well, because in their minds, basically they're saying we didn't have anything to do with this. So they must have came up here and stole her. Somebody came up and stole her. And if you remember back when I think he was talking to Molly Golightly the night that I think he may have possibly throat punched Candace. That's an accusation, and I didn't see it, but that's what people were saying. It sounded like that. But that was the "don't break my door" night. That was like the greatest line ever, because she was punching the door. You could hear it. But at the same time, when you're listening to it, you're going, this is incredibly sad. This is incredibly just, this is what goes on in that house. It's terrible. It's just an awful, awful thing. And that night, Dawn was saying, matter of fact, I'm going to play this. I'm just going to play the audio. I don't even want to see it. Dawn. Okay, so let's take a listen. Now, there's going to be some F's and stuff, but let's just
Understand that.
throated me in the punch.
Find out who took her. If I ever find out who took her, it's not going to be good.
Do you
It
honestly
broke my wife's heart, and it broke my heart.
do you know what happened that day, or any idea or any thoughts of what happened that day? 'Cause
Yeah, I know exactly what happened. This is what
I know exactly what happened.
happened.
right? Weren't you?
Yeah, I was at work, but you know what? I trust my wife's word 100%, and I know exactly what happened. 100%, and this is what happened. Some sorry motherfucker come up here and abducted our daughter. That's what happened. Why?
Oh, I believe that.
Can't nobody understand that?
I believe that. Where were
They
the
took our
dogs?
little girl.
Were the dogs not
Our
there?
stupid fucking dogs that are stupid as fuck. We don't, man. Hey, please. You're talking about some stupid mutts that are stupid as fuck. Well, they're not like German Shepherds. They're not like high-profile dogs.
What's a high-profile dog?
Great Danes. We're talking about stupid mutts that don't give a. Man, you got to understand, these dogs that we have are fucking dogs that people just drop off here. They stole all our good dogs. They stole our daughter. And they drop off their fucking mutts here.
Okay. So Don goes on to say here that the same people that stole his good dogs stole Summer and then dropped off their crappy dogs on the hill. Now, this was like over a year ago.
And we take care of them and we feed. I was at work, but you know what? I trust.
Thoughts of what happened that day? 'Cause
Yeah, I know exactly what happened.
He knows exactly what happened. When you blast everything, it's evident the perpetrator is watching more than likely. I haven't blasted anything that would jeopardize Summer's investigation. I don't know what happened to her, but we do.
happened that day, or any idea or any thoughts of what happened that day? 'Cause
Yeah, I know exactly what happened. This is
You
what
were
happened.
there, right? Weren't you?
Yeah, I was at work, but you know what? I trust my wife's word 100%, and I know exactly what happened. 100%, and this is what happened. Some sorry motherfucker come up here and abducted our daughter. That's what happened. Why?
Oh, I believe that.
Can't nobody understand that?
I believe that. Where were
They
the dogs?
took our little girl.
Were the dogs not
Our
there?
stupid fucking dogs that are stupid as fuck. We don't, man. Hey, please. You're talking about some stupid mutts that are stupid as fuck. Well, they're not like German Shepherds. They're not like high-profile dogs of Great Danes. We're talking about stupid mutts that don't give a. Man, you got to understand these dogs.
Just out of curiosity, are Great Danes high-profile dogs? Is that a thing? I didn't know.
That people just drop off here. They stole all our good dogs. They stole our daughter. And they drop off their fucking mutts here, and we take care of them and we feed them, but they're stupid. These dogs here are fucking mutts that people drop off here. You have to understand, they're stupid as fuck. These dogs don't mean shit. They're stupid as fuck. They're lucky I don't. Never mind.
So he was about to say, here, listen to this.
These dogs don't mean shit. They're stupid as fuck. They're lucky I don't. Never mind.
But most people abduct for a reason, whether it's money,
yes, that's Candace in the background,
sex trade or something. There's usually a reason.
Right.
So I'm just wondering,
or for personal sexual gratification.
Oh, God forbid.
Or just to kill some little kid.
God forbid.
Yeah, I think they would have found her by now if that was the case. I do.
That means she's far away from here.
It's possible.
She's far away from here.
It's definitely possible. Do you think it's possible that her mom had something to do with the abduction?
All right. So once again, if you have children in the room or if they can hear this, please mute it or turn it off. Or I mean, it's a bit much.
And that's just
but I want you to hear it. I want you to remember why we have formed, or at least I have formed this opinion of Dawn.
Question.
No.
That's not an invitation.
No,
because I would kill the bitch. And I would kill any bitch for taking my daughter. And anybody, if I find out who took my daughter, I will kill them.
Now I think that's kind of a normal thing to say. You know, I mean, he says it in a much different way, but yeah.
I don't blame
I promise you.
I can
And
understand.
if I thought that,
I'd kill him
he would
too.
already be dead. I'm not a killer, but when it comes to my daughter, I will become a killer. I've never wanted to kill or hurt anybody.
Do you think it's
for personal sexual gratification?
Oh, God.
Drop off here. You have to understand, they're stupid as fuck. These dogs don't mean shit. They're stupid as fuck. They're lucky I don't. Never mind. These dogs don't mean shit. They're stupid as fuck. They're lucky I don't. Never mind.
But most people abduct for a reason, whether it's money or for sex trade or something. There's usually a reason.
Right.
So I'm just wondering.
Or for personal sexual gratification.
Oh, God forbid.
Or just to kill some little kid.
Or to just kill some little kid. Yeah, that's what he said. Or to just kill some little kid. These scenarios come off just flying out of his yap really fast.
Or for personal sexual gratification.
Oh, God
Or
forbid.
just to kill some little kid.
Or to kill some little kid.
God forbid.
Yeah, I think they would have found her by now if that was the case. I do.
That
I
means
think they
she's
would have
far
found
away
her.
from here.
So he says that she's far away from here. Detective Pruitt somewhat disagrees. He thinks that she's close by.
It's
That means she's
possible.
far away from here.
It's definitely possible. Do you think it's possible that her mom had something to do with the abduction? And that's just a question. That's
No.
not an accusation.
No.
No, because I would kill the bitch. And I would kill any bitch dead. Now, you have to understand that. And if you think for 1 minute that my mother-in-law has something to do with it, she wouldn't even come back here. I would kill that bitch. I would kill anybody, man,
She would never come
woman, man. I don't give a damn. Over my daughter, you fucking right.
Her mother.
And she's here, and she's not dead. So what does that tell you?
Do you think Rose was abducted?
Dumb bitch.
Who?
You dumb bitch.
Who? What?
Rose.
You're talking about sister now.
Yes. I mean, I'm just
Will you
asking.
please let me fucking talk?
No.
I'm not accusing anyone. I'm asking.
Another sister.
I can't hear because this dumb bitch keeps opening her fucking mouth. What'd you say?
So this is where it turns, and once again, a major warning here. The verbal abuse is flying. It's rough.
Really?
Man,
And if you don't think for a second that this is what those children experienced, and if you're okay with that,
please shut the fuck up, man.
Do you think it's possible that
What'd you
Summer's,
say?
do you think that Summer's disappearance had to do with Rose at all, even though it was so many years different?
You know what? We don't know that.
No.
We have no idea because we don't know what happened to Rose. Therefore, and we don't know what happened to Summer. So there's no way of telling on that one. We don't know. As far as I know,
She was supposed to be my cousin at a bar, and she never ended up there.
yeah, her car never ended up there. They found her car at a gas station parked.
That's all we know.
And that's the last time nobody's seen her. We don't know. There's no way of telling. And that's what makes me lose hope about Summer, that we'll never see her. Yeah.
And the boys didn't see anything either?
No, we're not allowed to talk to the boys about that.
Why?
Isn't that fucking crazy?
That
Have
is
you ever
crazy.
heard any bullshit like this in your entire fucking life?
Why
I'm not
can't we
allowed
talk-
to talk to my fucking boys about my daughter that's been. What the fuck kind of shit's that?
That's crazy. Why not?
I've never even. Right? How do you process it? How do you deal with it? I had to sneak the other day when I was with Josie. I had to sneak and talk to him. Like, I had to sneak and talk to him about his sister. I can't believe this shit. I can't even talk to my sons about their fucking own sister. What the fuck? They did what?
Right? They haven't accused you of Candace or anything, right? Guys, I heard
Man,
about
I got that. Hey, you have to. I have 7 alibis,
what?
if not more. Baby, don't break my fucking door. Come on.
Well,
Really?
you were at work.
Come on.
Don't break the fucking door.
Open it then.
You dumb bitch.
Oh, you can call me a dumb
You
bitch?
break my fucking door.
Yeah, fuck you.
You dumb motherfucker.
You're fucking whore.
No, he
I
said
have
he had
7 alibis. I have 7 alibis. Candace ain't got none. She's going
you
down.
were at work.
I have 7 alibis. Candace ain't
Well,
got
you-
none. She's going
You
down.
were at work. Right?
Yep.
Now, tell me, just from what we've heard here, if you were a detective or law enforcement, who would your suspects be?
Yep.
And they've always said you were at work.
Yep.
And then
Plus, I have a good friend named Starlink. My buddy named Starlink, and yeah, Starlink.
now, Don, I've heard the story from other people, but I would love to hear from you, like what actually happened that day. Because I've only heard it from like Chris.
And you asked, okay, Starling,
I was talking to her. What?
stop lying.
She asked me, what? What is your question? What? I'm listening.
Who's he?
Come on, man. What?
Well, that real itches. That's disgusting.
I'm just to show your ass live I'm live. Stop it. It's fucking live, you dumbass.
No, stop.
It is.
No, it isn't.
Can't stop.
Okay, whatever. Play your little game, Donnie.
All right, I'm gonna have to go. She don't think we're live and shit, okay? And she's fucking going off and acting like an alcoholic. I have to get off here now.
That's fine.
I
Thank you so
appreciate
much
y'all.
for talking to us.
Don, I'll
All
talk to
right,
you
thank
later.
All right, bye.
Thank you so much.
Oh, I just seen that.
Stupid, man.
So he thinks that it's over. He thinks that the conversation's done. He thinks that he logged off, but he didn't.
You want to act stupid, man.
I just scratched my back. That's all I asked.
Fucking live. Bitch.
Oh, I just seen that. You're a dumbass. I just seen you punch me in my throat.
Whatever, man.
You're a dumbass. You're a real dumbass. You're a real dumb fucking ass. They just seen me throwing me in the punch. Yeah, you're a dumbass. Yeah.
858-299-2504 is the number to call if you want to get in. We got open lines right now. Taking reaction on what happened in this phone call and others, as well as what do you think about Don telling me that he knows what happens. Then when asked for clarification, well, all I hear is, well, maybe this is what I meant. Maybe this and maybe that. I believe the cops were called that night. And yes, that's why the boys are gone and even so much more. I watched it all live that night. I did too. And I watched it. You're in for it with calls. Nah. I don't think so. They just seen you throw me in the punch, yeah. We all heard the punch. Oh, perfect. Caller, go ahead. You're on the air.
Hi, Josh. I don't know if you remember me or not. I had talked to you, I think, about 12 days ago.
Not only do I remember
my name is
you.
Angela. I live in Georgia.
Not only do I remember
Pardon me?
you, I have you marked down when you call as the child advocate from Georgia.
Okay. Well, I just listened to your show. And those two people are telling on themselves. And I guarantee you that detective knows it too. So what you need to do is you need to send them copies of what you just showed tonight.
Oh yeah, no, they have this. They have this, and then because this audio. Well, so the little bit that I played earlier where you were talking about Tim Mullins and stuff, that's recent. But as for this was about a year ago. And so I'm just kind of but yeah, I'll send the whole thing over. I mean, it is nuts.
Well, they're telling on themselves every time they get on. They are literally telling the story. We just have to read between the lines.
Yeah, and
the old saying is, if you give a person enough rope, they're going to hang themselves.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, they're doing it. They're doing it. Listen, I called in a couple of favors, and this case is a lot further than people realize it is.
Really?
Yeah.
Like a lot further along the line, down the line?
Players. Pardon me?
Are you saying it's a lot further down the line than people think?
Yes.
And do you think that it will have a resolution?
Yes. I know it will. And the two main players are the two main suspects. Do you know what I'm talking about?
Oh, I absolutely. I know what
okay.
I'm picking up what you're laying down. I got you.
And remember what I told you about the children seeing counselors?
Yes.
Well, there's a whole lot that's come out there.
Interesting. Wow.
So let's get ready for a boom.
I'm ready. And it needs to happen.
I'm ready too.
It needs to happen. Some justice for these children, some justice for Summer. And I trust you and I believe you. I think that this is, like I said, when I talked to Detective Pruitt, I got the impression that this case was moving along. And
it's moved way along, Josh. I give you my word on that. I called in a couple of favors and made a couple of phone calls. I can't say a whole lot.
I understand. You don't have to.
But it's a whole lot further than people realize it is. I will say that.
I feel that way too. So, yeah, wow. Wow. I'm baffled. I'm baffled. And I know that these things take time and that's completely understandable, you know? But yeah, I feel so bad for all of those children that were there. And it's just, it's a bad situation.
Like I told you last time I talked to you, that's all these children know. And the way those two adults talk to one another, I guarantee you that's how they talk to the children.
Oh, yeah.
That's all they know.
Absolutely.
We're talking about two people that are extremely unlearned, unintelligent, cruel, and can't see past their own noses. They don't know how to love because they've never been loved.
Wow. I agree with you.
So the chain has to be broken at some time.
Yeah, and sometimes when that happens, it's just a very major thing that happens. And the worst part about it is that at the center of all of this is a missing little girl, and she is the catalyst for the chain being broken. Or else right. if she didn't go missing, who knows how long this stuff really would have gone on. I'm obviously not saying it is not a good thing that she went missing at all. and she needs to be found, but they should have been removed from that home a long time ago.
Oh, yes. But I understand totally what you're saying.
Yeah.
You know, God has a way of working in his time and in his manner. And I believe in my heart that he took one to save the others. Do you see what I mean?
Yeah.
He works in mysterious ways, and it's not for us to question why.
Yeah, well, sometimes I think it's the bad things.
Who's to say that he didn't take this baby girl? Right. Who's to say he didn't take this baby girl to keep her from any more harm?
Yeah. I mean, it's completely that's another thing. It's that, like, sometimes, like, out of these terrible circumstances, there can be something that is done, you know, that is good. And, you know, I wrote a poem a long time ago about, it wasn't a poem, it was just called A Letter to Summer. And when I did that, it was just one of those things where I felt the same way, where basically where I said, like, this is the catalyst, and it's not fair that it's you, but you're a hero. And I really felt like that.
Absolutely.
And so I do hope and pray that something somewhere good.
Well, honey, I told you, get ready for the boo.
Okay. Well, I appreciate that. And I can't wait to hear from you again. And just for the record, you are retired, correct?
Yes.
Okay. So everybody.
No, retired. No, Lord, no. I won't retire till they put me in the ground.
Okay. I just don't want anything, you know, negative to happen from you calling.
Oh, no. Okay. We communicate from state to state to state all the time, honey.
Yeah, but no details are given. Fine. Nothing's been said. It's just, you know, look, this thing is moving. And I agree with that. Like I said, I said that earlier.
I would love to talk to you I would love to talk to you one-on-one I could discuss it, but I can't discuss it on there.
Well, you know what? Tell me when a good time is, and I won't share anything because I'm not trying to I don't want to get anybody in any trouble, and I don't want.
You can call me anytime, Josh.
Appreciate
You can call me at any time.
I appreciate that.
Anytime.
Good deal. Well, thank you for calling, and we'll talk soon.
Honey, all right, and I still thank you, and God bless you.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
All right, honey. Have a good day.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Let me see here. Great call. Always great to hear from her. She's fantastic. Okay, let's see here. Caller, go ahead. You're on the air.
Hey, Josh.
Hello.
Hi, it's Robin from Pittsburgh.
How are you, Robin from Pittsburgh?
Well, hello. I'm your Yinzer friend. I called in a couple months ago.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, you know me, the fireman kid.
Yep.
So I heard the video tonight. It was the old video, the 7 alibis.
Yeah.
Can we go back to, I don't know, relationship, like when you and like Linda, like how much do we bring up the hateful comments? Like 7 alibis? Who would say that about their significant other?
No, nobody sane.
Right? Like, can we go back to who would even? I don't know. I'm struggling. I think Dawn's, I don't want to say innocent, but I think he wants to throw her under the bus.
Well, he can't now. He can't.
Why do you think that?
Because he'll go to jail too. I mean, this has gone on for 2 years. If she really did something and he wants to throw her under the bus, he better just pretend that he somehow found out what happened, or something to that effect, because that's accessory after the fact. If he had any knowledge whatsoever, he's going down too.
And do you think that's going to be his play?
No, I don't think that. I think that they will deny until the end of the earth. And I think that charges will have to be brought against them based on evidence and possibly and hopefully finding Summer. Now, I think that there are separate charges that are waiting for them when it comes to the children.
Everything else.
Yeah,
right.
I think that there are charges coming there as well. But I'm not really sure, how they're going to roll this out. But I do believe that it's coming. Absolutely do believe.
Yeah, I followed this.
Yeah.
Yeah, I followed this at the beginning. Now I'm to the point where I'm trying to figure out their defense. You know what I mean? Like, I've switched over to, it's totally, they know what happened. And I'm trying to rationalize in my head, what is their defense going to be? Like,
there won't.
How are they going to play this?
I think what will happen is if they somehow end up with, look, if they admit to any guilty knowledge, then they're in big trouble.
Right.
Any sort of cover up is big trouble. And so
I think we're close. Right? I think the kids, the boys, all that, I think that's coming not to a close, but I think they're in on what they know from that standpoint, that I think we're going to start finding out what really happened at this house.
Well, think about this. So in the Idaho 4 case, right, we weren't hearing much. It was real quiet. Everybody's like, they have no idea what's going on. Jacqueline and Trezell, Sincere and Classic, also, same thing. Nothing. What have we heard from Hawkins County? Nothing. Why have we heard nothing from Hawkins County? I don't know. Why are they not asking?
They're working.
Exactly. Why are they not asking, hey, don't forget,
They don't need our information. They know.
I agree.
They're working their case. They know what's going on.
I agree with that. I certainly do agree with it. But yeah, like I said, I don't know who's more culpable or who's less, but I do know that if for anything, that what they can be in trouble for certainly is child neglect. Your kids don't just get taken from you in such a dramatic way. And you should not be able to just walk away from that. Like, I don't think that you should be able to, okay, the kids are out of custody, out of their custody. We're all square bear. I don't buy that. I don't think that's right. I don't think that that's how it should be. I think no matter what, you have to hold people responsible for crimes against children, even if it is because they're, I'll say this, but degenerate drug addicts. That's not a defense to me.
No, sure. We have recovering in my family. There had to have been a lot going on for those kids to get taken away.
Yes.
I mean, as much as everybody talks about CPS or, FPS, whatever they call it, there had to have been a lot going on for them to take those kids away. And I understand their house was shit, but no. No.
I agree with that.
There's people that live in worse conditions, and they're allowed to have their kids.
I know. I know. It is an extreme move by the state, and for the kids to be gone for so long, all that tells me is there's an ongoing investigation.
not only that, there's been no progression from the parents to do
No,
what
I
they
think
need
that
to do.
if anything, it's been regression.
Oh, for sure.
They're headed backwards. And just the other night, when you heard Don say stuff like, no, we're not all right. And, and then I'm talking to
Don't
the
you
man.
love them? We just love them. We just love them.
Well, if by love you mean despise, absolutely, we love them.
I mean, you have to take Dawn for what's Dawn, right? People, like other channels, believe that. We've heard Dawn for, I don't know, how long's it been? 18 months?
It's 21 months,
We can hear Dawn for... Is that what it is?
Yeah.
God damn it. I can't count. It's June 15th. I know that. People will hear what they want to hear. Dawn knows that, unfortunately. So he will play that card. And he'll play what people want to hear. I'm just struggling right now, like, what is even... Because I think it's getting close. I think we're coming up to the point on the boys. We're coming to a point on everything else. That's why all the actions are being taken, with remodeling and all that. And I'm like, oh, what is their defense going to be? Like, what are they even going to say?
It won't be good. It won't. It will be either drug related or alcohol related, or they may even try and blame one of the children. I hope not, and I hope that's not the route that it goes. I'd like to say that parents wouldn't do that, but who knows?
To your point, Dawn was away for what? He went away in what? November, December, January, February, March. He was away for what? 4 months?
Yep.
Give or take. So I don't know if those are going to play the drug route because he was away the whole time, right?
Mm-hmm.
So is it going to fall down to these children? Like he knew or they knew. But I honestly think if the kids knew what happened, if any of the boys knew, this would have been long over.
See, I don't think that. I don't think it would have been long over because...
You don't think?
No, because they're little kids and what's going on is delicate. I was a little kid that, had to work with, counselors and people wanted me to talk at parole hearings at a really young age, and I wasn't ready for any of that. And
so can I ask, how did they know your dad was the suspect?
Oh, there were witnesses, eyewitnesses.
You?
No, not. I didn't physically see it with my own two eyes. Like when it went down. I mean, That's
what I mean. So it wasn't a kid. It wasn't a kid that said they saw it.
No, it wasn't a kid.
Okay.
There were, like I said, there were other people in the house, and there was a surviving victim as well. My aunt was shot. She knows who shot her. Yeah. So she just
okay.
Said,
so she was pretty much saying that your dad had done it. Okay.
Yeah, but there were also there were probably like three other adult witnesses. Yes.
Adult.
But but what happens is after that they come in. No matter your age, like if you can communicate, they're asking you about the situation. Like my sister was.
Your
much
dad
more
was. My point is saying your dad was caught rather quickly.
He was. It took about a week.
Right. So, like, if it was the boys and they knew what happened, Dawn or Candace would have been caught quickly. No?
I just think that they.
You know what I mean?
I just think that they were psychologically stunted, and I think that they know or have a good idea of what happened to Summer. Obviously, they can't find her.
Yeah, nobody saw it.
Yeah, so
yeah,
it's just one of those things. I don't think that they're in a big hurry with the boys because of that because
The boys are safe. Yeah.
yeah, well, I don't believe that when they went and looked for Summer, they were looking in the middle of nowhere in the woods. They weren't looking for her alive.
And right. And we know how I feel about the shed. These boys going over the hillside and looking aimlessly because that's what they thought they needed to do. They thought she walked away. I feel like she was told to walk away. But, I mean, that's my opinion. I thought, and I still feel she was told where she needed to go that day. The boys would have had no idea about that. So they would have been walking down the creek and walking down the hillside and walking on the dog trail. You know what I mean? They would have been walking everywhere looking for her. Like,
you think that she was guided somewhere?
I think she was guided to the shed. Yeah, sure.
Interesting. Well, look, I mean...
No, I for sure think she was guided to go to that shed because I think that was the normal thing where she was guided to go. And then I think shit went down that day. Sorry. Stuff went down that day. And that was the day she didn't come home. That's what I think happened.
I mean, it's possible.
She went, and that was the day that it didn't go as it normally did. So I think Dawn knew, Candace knew, but I think their story still holds true. I mean, everything they say about their story would still be factual. She went to the basement, and then she was gone. Well, right, she was gone because you left out half the story.
I don't think she ever went. I don't think she ever went to the basement ever. Never.
Oh, I think she did because she went out that back door to get on the shed.
Well, it was locked.
Well,
and
I know
when there was a couch in front of it.
Yeah, when she was there with Chris and that whole thing when she locked the door in that video, and then he said that a couple times after, that was repetition for her to lock that door.
Yeah.
I'm not kidding. I just moved from my house downtown Pittsburgh to the suburbs. I probably shouldn't say this on here, but my house is never locked. I have no idea what doors are locked. We leave, we go. I have teenagers. It happens. I'm not a lock my door person. I'm just not that type of person.
Mm-hmm.
For her to lock the door, that was very weird for me. That was, I mean, I grew up in the city of Pittsburgh, like downtown city. I never locked my doors. I was not in a great neighborhood. Like, it just wasn't something we did. If people were coming for us, they were coming for us. Otherwise, the neighborhood was safe. You know what I mean? Like, the bad people in the neighborhood only went for the other people in the neighborhood. They didn't go to random people.
Yeah, and I don't think they're to even so say she was abducted by somebody, whoever it was obviously had to know that property because you don't even
well,
really
that's
see
what I
it from
mean.
the side
They
of the
would
road.
have had to have a connection.
Yeah, of course. Nobody would see that from the side of the road. But I don't think she ever went down. I don't think she went down to the basement.
But Josh, if we were driving down Middle Tennessee or north south East Tennessee, and you saw a kid on the side of the road, what would you do?
Say that again.
If you saw a random kid on the side of the road, what would you do?
I'd stop and call the police.
Right. I'd pick that kid up and take it to the police.
I don't even know if I would take
There's
it.
a reason
I wouldn't
that-
take them to the police. I would say, hey, sit here. I'm calling the
Well,
police.
I'm a woman. I would grab up that baby and I would take it.
Yeah, I mean, I would too. I would make sure it's okay.
As a mother.
I'd make sure the child's okay for sure. Yes.
Yeah, I would scoop that baby up and I would protect it until I got it to the police. As a mother, right, wrong, or indifferent, that's what I would do. That didn't happen at Summer that day. Why?
Because I don't think she was I don't think she was wandering.
Right. I don't think she was. I think she was guided. And again, that's back to my point. She was supposed to be in a certain place at a certain time. Nobody just, I don't know, drives down the street and says, "Oh, look at this blonde-haired little girl. I'm just going to take her home." No, that's like Chris said. It doesn't look right. It's not. There's no What does he call that? Chris says it. Damn it. Like the convenience of it.
Right.
Like that's not a convenience thing. You don't drive down the street in Tennessee when there's nobody driving and see a random kid and then go, "Oh yeah, I'm going to take that kid," like as an offender or something else, right?
Correct.
No, it was not an opportunity. Like there was something happening. I think she was told to go somewhere.
I think she was taken somewhere against her will, but
yeah,
but
that's me too.
By people that know her.
Right. To your point, if me or you would have drove by, would have been like, "What you doing, kid? What's happening?"
Yeah,
where,
I mean,
where do you live?
It's not like,
why are you down on the street?
Well, especially in the middle of nowhere, right?
Right, and that is in the middle. I mean, for us, for me, it's in the middle of nowhere.
It's in the middle of nowhere for me too.
Like there's woods. I wouldn't. Shit, kid, where do you belong? Where are you supposed to be? Are you lost?
But you're a normal human. That's apparently
right.
all around there. Not a lot of normalcy going on, but I do think.
But I still think if it was JD, right, JDC or whatever, they would have saw her and be like, "Honey, go home." Right? Like, you're not supposed to be down here. Go home. I don't see anybody grabbing her not familiar. I'll say that. Not familiar, right? Any stranger would have been like, "Oh, girlfriend, what are you doing? Let's get you home," right? Unless you were told to drive by there. Yeah. But what's very interesting is even when Chris said the other day, when he was talking about Murdoch, his cell phone data, that they would know who was in the area. And we've never heard about that stupid red Toyota or whatever.
Right.
So definitely the cops know more than...
I think so too.
They know more. I hope they're close. I hope we're getting there. I hope we're getting there with the boys. I hope the boys are good. Always in that situation. I mean, it's supposed to be they're good. I hope they're good. And I hope at this point that we are going to move forward and find out what happened to her. Because unfortunately, what you say, 21 months?
21 months.
Yeah. We're definitely looking to find out what happened, not to find Summer, unfortunately.
Well, like I said, hopefully we do get some answers here.
And that's upsetting.
It is.
Right. And that's upsetting because now I can't say, for the first year, I was probably looking for Summer. The past year, I've been looking to find out what happened. And that's sad. And that's what kept me on this case so long. It's like, please just tell me what happened to this poor child.
Yeah, I feel
the first
that's
year.
how
That's
how I always end up feeling about these.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Well, I appreciate your phone call and your theory, and I hope you call in again. You have great thoughts on the case, and hopefully this comes to a resolution at some point.
I hope so. Okay. All right, I'm glad to catch you like at a normal hour on the East Coast.
I went on a little earlier. Yes, I went on a little earlier.
Oh my God. I'm usually you're my replay.
Okay.
When I get up ready for work, you're in the shower. I have a thing in my bathroom that's like, I don't know, it has like Bluetooth, so I can put you on the speaker.
There we go. All right.
And then when I get in the car, I put you on the speaker, so you're my morning crew.
Okay.
And I talked to you a couple times, like, you go early. I'm like, thank God, because usually I'm the replay Robin.
Well, I appreciate that as well.
No, so I appreciate you going a little early.
All right.
All right.
Thank you
I'll
so
be
much.
You.
Bye-bye.
I love you. All right. Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.
Such a nice caller. A couple more calls here. Caller, go ahead. You're on the air.
Hey, Josh.
Hello. You there?
Yeah. Can you hear me?
I can. Yeah, go ahead.
Oh, sorry. I'm not going to take up too much of your time. I called in a couple of weeks ago, and I just want to say I really like your show and what you're doing, and I appreciate your work and the time you're putting in. I'm a private investigator up north from you, and I kind of am an amateur comedian, and so I called in and told you a story about a dog and an owl.
Yeah, I remember.
So I want to apologize for that.
That's okay. I thought it brought a little levity.
Yeah, it was a really dark kind of.
Although there are situations where like bald eagles do pick up kids.
Absolutely.
So I mean, I didn't think. First of all, it's not the most ridiculous thing I've ever heard, and I understood it was in jest, and I got it, and you don't have to apologize for that.
Good. Well, I'm glad you picked up on it at the time.
Yeah, no, I
didn't want to add that kind of information that you don't need.
Yeah, no, it's all good, man. It's all good.
All right, man.
Thanks a lot for calling, and I hope you call in again. Yeah, you are known as the owl guy, so embrace it. It's all good.
Sweet. All right.
All right. Take care, man. Thanks a lot.
Okay. Have a good.
Bye-bye.
Keep it up.
Take care. That was nice. Caller, go ahead. You're on the air.
Hi, Joe.
Hello.
It's Karen from Boston.
Hi, how are you?
It feels like ages since I spoke with you.
Yeah, I haven't done a call-in in a while.
Yeah, that man that just called, was he the one that was insinuating that Chihuahua was taken by an owl? Because I remember that. I thought it was funny. I don't know why. If it was true, it wouldn't be, but I remember really thinking, oh my God, come on, really?
Yeah, that was him.
I thought it was funny. If
that was him.
Is that?
What's that?
Is that the same man that was kind of insinuating that his small dog was stolen by the owl and taken away?
I don't think he insinuated. I think he said that it happened.
But you got to admit
it was a matter of fact. Yeah.
I don't know. You have to have I don't know if it's just me, if it's the area. We tend to have really weird senses of humor.
Right. Well,
I do anyway.
No, I didn't. It wasn't a big deal at all because, and I know this is just ridiculous, kind of ridiculous, but there have been things that have happened. Remember the dingo?
Funny.
Yeah. Wasn't that a real thing? Nobody believed her.
The dingo ate your baby?
Yeah, and I think that actually happened, didn't it?
I don't know. It's terrible. That's really out there because they're only in Australia, correct? Like in that area, New Zealand, I believe. Like a dingo is not even United States.
Yeah.
Cougars. You guys might have cougars. That's the closest you get to something that crazy that could actually.
So it actually did happen.
The dingo?
Yeah. In 1980.
See, now this is terrible. I'm on a kick because I thought it was from Seinfeld, and I never knew where it originated.
It is from Seinfeld, but yes, the dingo really did take the child. And
oh, that is terrible.
No, but I don't think anybody, I don't think anybody believed her. And it was a whole deal.
Okay, so it would have been like an abduction, like she could have done something like a Boswell, but she literally said that a dingo took her baby and ran off. So there was no proof, I assume, and they didn't believe her. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So I
understand.
it definitely things like that do happen.
I guess it does. Yeah, you don't think of that. But the other woman, I agree more with you about the boys and not disclosing. I think people that have never worked or never had real serious trauma don't understand that those boys most likely would not have opened up for a while at all, based just by the environment that they had been raised in and imprinted upon by for so long. And to just get them to finally get to the point where they feel safe and comfortable to disclose, I can't even imagine the work involved to make them feel safe and comfortable enough.
Well, we also got to think as well that Don and Candace had some time with them after this went down.
Oh, that's right.
So
Yeah.
who knows what
He was mad.
Yeah, who knows what they were like? Hey, don't they had a couple weeks with them?
And I never really, none of us did, and not that it was our business, but you never really got a clear picture when he was in jail what was happening with Candace, but she was off the airways in terms of so they don't advertise or give you information at all, of course, from that court, from child court. I forget the real name of child court. There's another name for it, but family court. That's it. So who did she see them? There's rumors she didn't. There's rumors. Remember the foster parents wouldn't allow her to speak to them. Oh, Dawn, when he came out of jail, said they thought she was drunk. They cut off contact, but he said she had a stroke. Oh God, I shouldn't laugh. It's just so ridiculous. It really is.
Yeah.
But I agree with that. The boys need to feel safe. They need to feel that they're not going to get sent. Like it's going to take. It would have taken, if not still taking, a very long time. That's it. The child advocate that called you. I joined at the right time. Because that was really hopeful for me. That's the first time I really feel that someone was able to get some information, and I believe it. And I really felt that there might be some truth to that, and I personally needed to hear that.
I agree. It was a boost. It was a shot in the arm. I believe this lady very much, and so that being said, absolutely. And like I said, I spoke to Pruitt just the other day, and it is a very active and ongoing thing, and I got that loud and clear from him.
And people don't understand too. Like I worked in a school, people talk to school people. Advocates within social services could easily reach out, and other advocates will speak with them in general. Police officers will first probably can get information from other police officers without feeling like their trust is going to be betrayed. So, I think it happened. So that's why I kind of didn't feel she was like giving us a load of phooey crap. I know what it is. I'm sorry.
No, go ahead.
I tuned in during the fight between, that's it. I was a little late. So I saw the notice and heard Candace and Don. Now, I don't know why. Maybe because it was all so new and it sounded 10 times worse to me all this time later. And I don't know why. Like, I didn't desensitize at all. It was like, oh my God, I didn't forget about that. But hearing it now, it sounds just 10 times. I guess maybe because we found out so much in the interim about them overall. Maybe that's what it is. It was bad then, but now you add all the stuff that's been told about their prior families, and then we're all up in the airs, which because they're getting attention from other people that they're innocent and blah 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 blah.
Yeah, they become emboldened. Yep.
Oh, that's a good word. I didn't think of that. Yeah. Yeah, and it's just so weird because one night, she almost caught me. Like I think I said that. wrote it that I almost was like kind of bamboozled because I believed CW. And then someone mentioned the Mary prank call thing, and that's when I went, oh yeah, snap out of the camera.
Right.
And I still wonder, is she not drinking? Because that could have so much to do. But then she just laughed. Remember, you just had the phone call, which was recent. Oh yeah, I'm in touch with law enforcement, and I just thought and they laughed.
Yeah,
That's really
hysterically.
bizarre. And I think that's the other thing, like when people think the kids are going to disclose, I mean, what kind of environment were they in? You cannot compare these children to children that have not had trauma or abuse, may also have some learning disabilities, have missed school, add in some fetal alcohol. You don't know. You can't compare that to a typically developing child that doesn't have trauma.
I agree.
In terms of
I agree with you.
and seeing other people. And plus, never mind the fact that I think where they live is very isolating, was very isolating. And I don't know if the rumor was true or not, but it caught my ear, is that they missed a lot of school, and they also were asked to be put on IEP plans. And I wonder how often, things were taken care of at the school level by the parents, to be quite honest. Because that's like more of an interest of mine sometimes, So you add all that in, it's just, they didn't want probably anybody talking with their boys. I remember I asked you because I remember that you had said that Summer had saved the purse for her brothers, and I actually didn't understand that statement at the first time it was uttered. And of course I do now. You explained it back then, and it makes all of that sense. Something else which has been crossing my mind, and it sounds terrible, and I do not mean she deserved anything that happened to her, but I think of some of the kids I worked with and the lives they had. It's the boys, and especially Summer as a girl, if they never escaped that environment and those parents, what was their life going to look like? And I think about Summer too. Like, it really is, like, I think we'll never know maybe how bad her life was. And what am I trying to say? She broke the cycle. She is an angel. She did save those boys. Those boys at least have a chance. I think what happened if none of this happened, I would have been fine never knowing about Candace and Don, to be quite honest. But the reality is, those kids would have not really probably turned out too well.
Well, so that's what I think of all the time. I think, especially with even when I was a child, like if I was to be raised by somebody who was capable of doing what he did and many other things as well, what would have happened with me and my sister, or my sister and I don't know. But then you teeter back and forth, but you go, but you would have had your mother, but you would have been raised by a monster, or, at least because she was planning on leaving him, he's still going to be around in your life. Yeah. But, he has some parental rights. I think I've thought about that all the time. It's the butterfly effect, and it's a rabbit hole, and it's one of those things where you really, especially with me, you just have to kind of go, it is what it is.
Yeah.
And because you can think about that stuff forever. And it's tough.
And Summer, I almost feel, gives Dawn history, and God forbid if Mom was jealous of her, could have eventually, if not already, have had a rougher time of it. And we'll never know that, but in terms of her future too, like, I don't know, maybe it's the woman in me associating with the girl.
Right. That's possible.
Like, just having a whole different outcome. And it's terrible, but all of this has brought hope for somehow that the boys have a chance. not to say it's going to erase everything. It's not going to, we don't know how much damage, especially the oldest one, but, at least there's a glimmer. There's a hope for them now.
Yeah, he can be shown what life is like on the others, on a different side. I agree with that as well.
Have you been picking up? I've been picking up, and I don't know where I've been picking it up. Have you heard the thing that Candace was not supposed to be around children, and they got around that by her being in the camper?
Yeah, I've
hear that at all?
I've heard that, but I've never found anything to substantiate that. Now I know, but yeah, I have heard that, but I'm not sure if that's true or not. But I have heard it.
Or if she left her family, she left her girls. And they were raised by the father. That I know I don't know if it's been verified 100%.
That's where the nickname Abandis came in.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
okay.
Candace Abandis. I don't know who came up with it, but it was clever.
Okay, but that's also a whole nother. But you're right. What do you call that? Generational trauma and all that.
Oh, yeah.
And who knows about
goes back.
The uncle.
It probably goes back 150 years.
Oh, there's something going on. Yeah, that's for sure. And I do feel bad for the people of Tennessee because they're not even from Tennessee. Those two, and they live in the middle. But right before I caught you and knew that you were on, apparently the title across the way was CW was going to confront PGOA.
I'm sure.
There,
it's gonna.
This is just beyond anything. Like, come on.
It's. I mean, it makes for good theatrics, but nothing comes out of it. It's interesting to watch them fight.
I don't know. I just, it's sort of like I go in, I listen a little, and then I leave because it just is not good for the brain.
Yeah, you feel dumber when you leave. You're just like, oh man, I feel like
it's like getting hurt too. Listening to them is making it worse.
Did I just get a contact high through the computer?
And you know what the other thing? Oh, it was a replay of PGOA going off about somebody. I think another creator.
Yeah, she does it all the time.
And I have to say, the mouth on her.
It may be one of the foulest mouths I've ever heard.
But I've never heard anything like that. I'm sorry, in my whole life.
I don't think I have either. I mean, not in a serious, like, I've been to like comedy shows where people are like, they're real raunchy and stuff like that. But but when somebody's talking to somebody like that, it's just going, oh my God.
She is vile, and she's supposed to be, prayer and Christian. I don't get the dichotomy. It's just, come on. How can you really be both?
I don't know. Maybe she started her own religion. It's the religion of swear words. and she's the card.
I don't get it.
I don't know either.
It's terrible.
But I do like that. I do like that she gives Don and Candace crap. I do appreciate that.
This week or this month, and yeah, she's turned back on them again. But was it like a month ago or 6 weeks ago? I think that's even. No, I shouldn't say funny. I don't like to make fun of this situation, but I guess it is a little comical. But it really is real people. But I don't live next to them. I don't live anywhere near them. So to me, it is sort of like a soap opera, but it does involve real people.
Right.
It's the kids, of course, that I feel bad for and will have sympathy, empathy for. The rest, I find it is sort of, what's the word? It's, I guess, like, I don't watch soap opera. I don't watch those since I was a young kid. Like, I feel like that's what now I get.
I call it Christian Slater-ish. It's very Zach Morris, Saved by the Bell. Prepubescent angst, all kinds. I don't know. I could go on forever about that.
Absolutely. It feels very teenagerish and click, whatever the way the wind blows this week. But to have adults and dropping all the sweet, oh my goodness, it's so bad. How's this? In my thing, sometimes it's so bad it's actually humorous because it seems so unreal to someone like me.
Yeah, no, I can
like
understand
that. They're really out there. Well, I know you can. You've actually been caught in some of it for real.
Yeah.
You've come too close and gotten burned, Bailey.
Yeah, absolutely have. No question. No question.
And on the late night, I make a request. You have to play, what do you call it, the warm line? You have to make a clip of around little Howie. And my grandson's little Howie got shot, or whatever you said happened.
Yeah.
You have to make like a clip of that. I think it's a classic.
Yeah,
I know you felt bad.
I do too.
But
nah, I just felt bad for calling so many times. But it was fun.
But I think that section is like, I know it goes on, but there is a section where you stay on that particular topic.
Yeah.
And then you go off, of course, on the lesbian.
Yeah, that happened
Sorry.
too. Oh, it was a good
that
time.
could be a clip too, but you about how that, because it's again, how do you come up with something like my grandson has a peacock that gets shot? I mean, the odds of these things coming together is what makes it so fun.
Yeah, I don't know.
Well,
I just come up with a ridiculous situation, and I couldn't think of a more ridiculous situation than a peacock getting shot, a pet peacock getting shot, and then trying to tell a stranger about it.
That's peacock. That's peacock. Little Howie.
Yeah, little Howie.
I'm sorry. All right, so that's for later. But I'm not that you need creative advice.
Oh. Okay.
But what's that? Haven't you heard on those sports? Long time listener, first time caller. That's me. Not that would be great.
Well, I always appreciate your calls.
Well,
they're always good.
I have to say, because I think even when you're serious, sometimes you're funny and you don't even realize it.
I can be very sarcastic and dry.
Okay, how's that? And I have to say that over here on the East Coast, there's a lot of that. I don't know if it's the area. I don't know if it's just me and the people I grew up around, but that's what I hear quite a bit. And that's why I probably recognize it, and I don't take much offense at all.
No, I completely understand.
Because it comes out of places that, and then you if you have to really touch it too sometimes.
Little Howie,
you can be really dry.
Little Howie, and guys, check out Lab After Dark if you're into it. We are having a show tonight. Karen, I appreciate your phone call, and I hope you call back again.
All right, well, have a good night.
Thank you so much.
Hopefully, I'll be up for the other.
All right,
take care.
Hang in there. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Let me see. Yeah, Lab After Dark. Lab After Dark is just a place we're all friends. It's like Cheers, like where everybody knows your name. You guys, thank you so much for being here. Thank you for the new memberships, the super chats, the stickers, the likes, and just being here watching. I appreciate it so much. And we'll be back to either tomorrow or Tuesday. I can't remember, but Lab After Dark is on tonight. I hope to see you guys there. Take care.
There is no investigation. This boy has.
It's not really this to me.
Don't say any F's and stuff.
But I have to put her on the side and where
I'm gonna do what I gotta do for me and my boys and my kids.
Don't say any F's and stuff.
There is no investigation. This boy has.
It's not really this to me. Right, idiot.
I've done my best. It's hard, that's real tough.
have to put her on the side and worry about the boys.
I'm gonna do what I gotta do for me and my boys and my kids.
Don't say any F's and stuff.
Live from the NBD Production Studios, you're in the lab with your host, Joshua Diaz.
There is no investigation. This boy has...
It's not, really? It is to me. But I have to put her on the side and worry about the boys. But I have to...
There is no investigation.
Don't say any F's and stuff.
But I have to put her... But I have to put her